Glad you can join me. In today's lesson, we'll be learning about unit conversions. So the first thing that we have to know is what is unit conversion. Unit conversion is just the process of changing a measurement from one unit to another. For example, you are changing meters to centimeters without changing the actual value. For example, you are changing 2 meters to centimeters. What will change in this case, it is just the units and the expression of this value in meters to centimeters, but the value will remain the same. So how do we do the unit conversions? Unit conversion uses conversion factors. Conversion factors, these are just equalities like 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. These are the conversion factors. Now, the method that we employ, the method that we use in changing the units is multiplying the fractions. So these fractions are made from the conversion factors. We get the conversion factors, we express them as fraction, then multiply that fraction with the measurement we want to change the units from. So this is done so that we cancel out unwanted units. So you must take note in the arrangement of these fractions because it matters a lot if the units will cancel out or not. With that said, we can now take a look at some questions. So question 1 says that convert 450 centimeters to meters. Let's first come up with a conversion factor, which is how many centimeters add up to 1 meter. So we have a meter. It is just equal to 100 centimeters. So we have our conversion factor. We can now express this conversion factor as a fraction and then multiply it with the 450 centimeters. So we get the 450 centimeters. And then we multiply by the fraction. So we want the units which have centimeters to be down so that they can cancel out. So we put a meter on top. And then down there, we put a centimeter. Now, the centimeter and the centimeter can cancel out. The only unit that we have remained with is just a meter. So we multiply the 450 with the 1 meter and then divide by 100. So we have 450 meters and then divide by 100. So after we do the division, the units now the value will be 4.5 meters. So we have converted the 450 centimeters to meters. We are done with this question. Let's take a look at another question. Convert 2.5 kg to grams. Again, in order to convert these units to grams, we first have to take note of the conversion factor. So 1 kg adds up to how many grams? So 1 kg is just 1,000 grams. So we have our conversion factor. We can start the process of converting these units. So we have 250 kg, and then we multiply this with a fraction of the conversion factor. We want the kg to be down so that it cancels out. So we put the grams on top where we write 1,000 grams. And then down there we can put 1 kg. Now, the kg and the kg can cancel out, and the only units that we have remained with is just a gram. let's multiply the 2.5 by 1000 grams. So we have 2.5 and then multiplied by 1000 grams. So if we do the multiplication, our answer will be 2500 grams. We have converted 2.5 grams to grams now. So we're done with this question. Let's take a look at another question. Question says that convert 500 square centimeters to square meters. So we have to come up with a conversion factor as well in this case. So our 1 square meters add up to how many square centimeters? So we get, we know that 1 meter, it is equal to 100 centimeters. So in order to have a square centimeters, we get that 100 centimeters, we multiply it by itself. So 100 centimeters and then squared, it will just give us 10,000 cubic, 10,000 square centimeters. So now we have the conversion factor, which is a square meter, it is just 10,000 square centimeters. We can now start the conversion process. So we write 500 centimeter squared, and then we multiply by, we want the square centimeters to cancel out, so let's put the 10,000 square centimeters down so that it cancels out, and then on top here we can put 1 square meter. So now the square centimeters and the square centimeters can cancel out, and what will remain with is just 500, and multiply it with 1 square meter and then divide by 10,000. So you have 500 square meters and then divide by 10,000. So after we do the division, our answer will be 0.05 square meters. So this is our answer in this case. So we are done with this question. We can now move on to another question. Convert 250 cubic centimeters to cubic meters. So we get 1. We want to come up with a conversion factor. So get 1 cubic meters. It adds up to how many cubic centimeters? So you get the 100 centimeters, and then you multiply it by itself 3 times. It will give us a cubic centimeters. So if we do that, we will have a million cubic centimeters. We will have a million cubic centimeters. So now, the million cubic centimeters, we can express it as a prefix as 10 to the power 6 cubic centimeters. Just to shorten it, the way it is too long. So now we can start the conversion process. 250 cubic centimeters multiplied by 1 cubic meters and then divide by a million cubic centimeters. Now the cubic centimeters and the cubic centimeters can cancel out, and then what will remain with is just the 250 and the 1 cubic meters. So you have 250 cubic meters, and then divide by 1 million. So after we do the division, our answer will be 0.0000025 cubic meters. So this is our answer. We can put this answer, or we can express it as in scientific notation. And if we do that, we'll have 2.5 times 10 to the power negative 5 cubic meters. So this is our final answer here. We are done with this question. Let's take a look at another question. A car travels at 72 kilometers per hour. What is its speed in meters per second? So the conversion factors that we need is that of a kilometer and a meter, and then a conversion factor as well for an hour and a second. So let's start first with the kilometer. So 1 kilometer, it is equal to 1,000 meters. And then 1 hour, it is equal to 3,600 seconds. We have our conversion factors. Let's put these conversion factors into fractions and then start the conversion process. So we write 72, and then to make it easy for you to know which units to cancel out, you can write the kilometer and the hour in this form, and then multiply now by a fraction. So we want the kilometer to be cancelled out, so we can put the kilometer down and then the meter on top. And then the next step, we want an hour to cancel out, so we can put the hour on top and then the seconds down there. Now we can do the cancelling. So a kilometer and a kilometer can cancel out. An hour and an hour can also cancel out. And the only units that will remain, it is that of a meter and a second. After we've done that, we can now multiply the 72 by 1,000 meters and then multiply by 1 as well. So we can write 72 multiplied by 1,000 meters and then divide by, we have 3,000 down there, so we can write 3,600 seconds. So if we multiply 72 by 1,000, our answer will be 72,000 meters, and then divide by 3,600 seconds. We can now divide 72,000 meters by 3,600. If we do the division, our final answer will be 20 meters per second. So we have converted the 72 kilometers per hour into meters per second. We are done with this question. Let's take a look at another question. Question 6 says, express the speed limit of 65 miles per hour in terms of meters per second. So the conversion factors that we need in this case, we have to convert the miles to kilometers and then the kilometers to meters. So let's do the first conversion factor. So 1 mile, it's just approximately 1.6 kilometers. And then what we want is not kilometers, so we have to make another conversion factor. So 1 kilometer, it is equal to 1,000 meters. And then we also have to convert the hours to seconds. So we have 1 hour equal to 3,600 seconds. So we have everything that we need. We can now start the process of converting these units. So we can write 65 and then miles over the hour, and then multiply this by the first conversion factor. Since we want to cancel out the miles, so we can put 1 mile down, and then on top we can write 1.6 kilometer. And then the next conversion factor, our aim is to cancel out the kilometer, so the kilometer can be down, and then 1,000 meters on top. Our next step, the aim again is to cancel out the hour, so the hour should be on top so that it cancels out perfectly, and then the seconds down there. Now we can start canceling the units. So a mile and a mile can cancel out, a kilometer and a kilometer can cancel out, an hour and an hour can cancel out, and the only units that we have remained with is just a meter and a second. Let's multiply the 65 by 1.6 and then by 1,000 meters. So you have 65 multiplied by 1.6 and then multiply it by 1,000 meters, and then divide by 3,600 seconds. So 65 multiplied by 1.6 and then multiplied by 1,000. So this just gives us 104,000 meters over 3,600 seconds. So 104,000 divided by 3,600, this gives us 228.889 meters per second. So we can collect this value to two significant figures, and if we do that, our final answer will be 29 meters per second to two significant figures. So this is our final answer. This is our final answer for this question. We can now move on to another question. The density of water is 1,000 kg per meter squared per cubic meters. Express this in grams per cubic centimeters. So the first conversion factor that we might need here is that of 1 kg and a gram. So 1 kg adds up to 1,000 grams. And then 1 cubic meters adds up to 1,000,000, adds up to 1,000,000 cubic centimeters. So we have everything that we need. This is everything that we need. We can now put these conversion factors into fractions and then start the conversion process. So we can write 1000 kg per cubic meters and then multiply it by our first conversion factor, which is 1 kg. We want to cancel out a kg. Our aim is to cancel out a kg, so let's write it in this way. A cubic meters, like that. And then we multiply by 1 kg over 1000 grams. And then multiply it again by another conversion factor. So we want to cancel out the cubic meters. So the cubic meters should be on top. The cubic meters should be on top. And then down there we can have 1 million cubic centimeters. So now the kg and the kg can cancel out. The cubic meters and the cubic meters there can cancel out. And the only units that we have remained with is just a gram and the cubic centimeters. Let's multiply what we have. So 1000 multiplied by 1000 grams and then divide by 1 million cubic centimeters. So you have 1000 being multiplied by 1000 grams and then divide by 1 million cubic centimeters. So 1000 multiplied by 1000, this gives us 1 million. So this just gives us 1 million grams and then divide by 10 to the power 6 cubic centimeters. So 1 million, we can express it as a prefix as well, 10 to the power 6 grams. And then we also have 10 to the power 6 cubic centimeters down there. Now let's divide the million grams divided by a million cubic centimeters. So this just gives us 1 gram. This gives us 1 gram per cubic centimeters. So 1000 kg per cubic meters, it is just equal to 1 gram per cubic centimeters. We are done with this question. Let's take a look at another question. A motorbike accelerates at 10 meters per second squared. Express this in kilometer square hours. So our first conversion factor is that of 1 kilometer, which is equal to 1000 meters. And then the other conversion factor is that of 1 square hour and the square seconds. So we get the 3600 seconds and then square it. It will give us a square seconds. So if we do that, our answer will be 12,960,000 square seconds. So we have all the conversion factors that we need. We can now start the conversion process. So we get 10 meters and then over a square seconds and then multiply it by the first conversion factor. We want to cancel out the meters, so the meters should be down. And then on top, we can put 1 kilometer. And then let's multiply by another conversion factor. What we aim to do is cancel out the square seconds. So the square seconds, we can put them on top. And then down there, we can write the square hour. All right. Let's now cancel unwanted units. So the meter and the meter can cancel out. The square seconds and the square seconds can also cancel out. And the only units that will remain with is the kilometer and the square hour. So the next step, we can multiply the 10 with the 12,960,000. So let's get the 10 and then multiply it. So we can multiply by 1 kilometer and then by the 12,960,000. And then down there we can divide by the 1000, and then we can multiply it by a square hour. So let's do the multiplication. 10 multiplied by 1 kilometer, then multiplied by 12,960,000. So this just gives us 129,960,000. And then we can divide no. So this just gives us 129,600. And then we can divide down there by 100 square hours. So if we do that, let's do the division. If we divide, so here there's a kilometer. And then if we divide, our final answer should be 129,600 kilometers per square hour. So this is our final answer for this question. So we are done with this one. We can move on to another question. Convert a density of 7.8 grams per cubic centimeters to kg per cubic meters. Then express it to tons per cubic meters. So we first start by converting the grams per cubic centimeters to kg per cubic meters. So let's come up with the conversion factors. 1 kg, it is just equal to 1,000 grams. And then 1 cubic meters, it is just equal to 1,000,000 cubic centimeters. Let's convert these units. We have 7.8 gram over cubic centimeters, and then we multiply it by the first conversion factor. We want to cancel out the gram, so let's put the 1000 gram down and then the kg on top, and then we can multiply it again by, we want to cancel out the the cubic centimeters. So the cubic centimeters can be on top. And then down there, we can write 1 cubic meters. So let's cancel out what we don't want. So the gram and the gram can cancel out. The cubic centimeters and the cubic centimeters can cancel out. And then we only remain with the kg and the cubic meters. So let's multiply 7.8, multiply it by 1 kg, and then multiply by 1 million, and then divide by 1000, multiply by 1 cubic meters. So after we have this, we can multiply the 7.8 by 1 kg and then by 1 million. So after you do that, your answer should be 7,800,000 kg over 1,000 cubic meters. And then the next step is just to divide the 7,800,000 kg over 1,000 cubic meters. So after you do the division, your final answer should be 7,800 kg per cubic meters. So this is your answer for this question. But at the same time, this question asks us to further convert these units to tons per cubic meters. So the only thing that will change is just the tons, but the cubic meters will maintain. So let's make a conversion factor for the cubic for the tons. So 1 ton it is equal to 1,000 kg. So this is the one conversion factor that we need. We can now multiply the 7,800 kg per cubic meters by the conversion factor. So we want to cancel out the kg, so the kg can be down there. And then on top, we can put 1 ton. So now let's cancel out the kg and the kg. And then we can multiply the 7,800 by 1 ton, and then the cubic meters by 1,000. If we do that, we have 7,800 tons, and then divide by 1,000 cubic meters. So let's divide the 7,800 by 1,000. And if we do that, our final answer will be 7.8 tons per cubic meters. So this is our answer in tons per cubic meters. So we are done with this question, and we have come to the end of the lesson, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you can click that subscription button and subscribe to my channel. And if you are watching me on TikTok, you can follow my page. And see you in the next video.